Oh man. Well, it is really hot out here. Yeah, it's just, that's the thing about Texas summers. It is just hot and still, and there's no breeze, there is no wind. Let me show you. So look at this. Nothing is moving. Not a leaf anywhere in sight. There is no breeze. So that's a Texas summer. It is a stifling, humid, hot. But you know what? If you've lived here your whole life, it's not even a thing. Yes, it is kind of like, I wish it wasn't this way. But to be honest, I don't think I would actually move anywhere else. There's very few places on this globe that I actually would move. And unfortunately, even those places have very large drawbacks. So if I'm already acclimated to the biggest deal about Texas, which is the heat, I think I probably should stay where I'm well suited. The only place I probably could ever live would be actually the UK, London. Yeah, I don't know. I just love the culture, I guess. I don't know. But so the garden is actually doing really well. Everything outside growing. But I just wanted to show you a few things. So these are very sad looking, non-successful wheatgrass. So this is wheat that I had grown for the wheatgrass that I had pulled some out and put them in this bucket, this pot thing. And of course they're not doing very well. I'm not trying very hard. But those stick things right there, there's two of them right there, and then I have another one right here. Those actually are bleeding heart vines. I thought they were dead, so I was gonna dig it up. And when I did, this one has little baby roots all at the bottom of it. Baby plants growing up. It's just taking a really long time to go out of dormancy. So yeah, everything's doing pretty good. A lot of plants here that I have are very well adapted to this weather. This is one of my Madagascar plants. This is another tuber bulbous root. Love these. I have 3 of them, I think now. These are vine-like. I have 2 that are vine-like. One that's a little bit different looking than this, but this one loves the outsides. Actually, this is Madagascar. This is from South Africa. The guy who sold it to us is a South African potter. He makes pottery. And this was his creation, this pot. So this is his work. And he had this plant in it. So we bought the whole thing. It's really pretty. This is really long. That's the crazy part. This is like a full-on vine here. It's very long, it's doubled up, it's wrapped around itself. So this one gets really big. I'm gonna do something a little bit different with it this year. I'm gonna trim it back because it didn't die back actually, which was weird. All my other ones died back really well. And then, look. So today was a bit of a stressful day for me. It was hard. I realized in the past couple of weeks that I have limitations of how much I can endure in a day. And that's probably maybe seems very logical, but it was something that was very specific to me. And I recently came into awareness of that for myself. And that is why gardening and doing this kind of stuff is so relieving and so healing. This is new life that I get to start on my own with no effort really, you know? This is kale. Look at that. This is kale. I don't know if these are leggy or not. They got really tall fast. These are seedless watermelons that I've never tried before, so this should be interesting to see how these do. They're very temperamental apparently. And this is my one Thai or poblano chili that's finally growing. It took a lot of sun for these to get started. So that's very exciting. And then these right here, well, these are fuzzy, they're not this fuzzy. This is that stuff from our black willow. But this is okra. We've got 2 kinds of okra in here. I can't tell you which one's which. But there's 2 kinds. And then more kale. This is, oh, what does that say? Red, what? Red something kale. That doesn't look red. This is scarlet kale. This one's actually like a red color. I don't know if you can see that. See the difference a little bit? So gardening is something that I have used for years now as a way to heal and to recover, to refresh, to rejuvenate myself. It reminds me of life. It reminds me of all the things I love. I love growing my own food. I love going outside to check on that, and just something about it. And I think having a garden as a child was very formative, you know, it was a very important aspect of my growing up and having that memory of it. And so today has been a challenging day, and I have my limitations, and it's hard to acknowledge those in a world that doesn't really work around that very well. And I have to take a very brave effort for myself and just allow myself to shut down and just chill out and relax. My therapist said something very important today, which I think is a wise piece of advice to share with everyone, is that when we figure out what our limitations are, is to then work at 80% of that, not to always push the boundary all the time. She said something that I had never fully conceived of or embraced, but it's that if you continue to push your boundary constantly, your nervous system will just overload. It just overloads. And then we have all kinds of disasters that occur. People have all kinds of reactions that are, you know, heart attacks and all strokes, you know, whatever, horrible things that might happen. So the effort is to like work with the body, and instead of fighting against it and trying to force it to do something else, is just to work with the little bits that I can. And so doing things like making videos and stuff like that is a part of me connecting to the part of myself that doesn't want to be inhibited all the time by the amount, kind of like the intensity of my life, you know? Because I do feel things so deeply and I'm so highly acutely aware of so much, it can be very difficult for me to be around a lot of different situations in one day. I would much rather stay one place for a long period of time than have to go to lots in a day, which is interestingly enough for myself an insight I just gleaned. So that's cool. But it's an opportunity for me to see myself in a more clear perspective without the constraints of the world around me, people around me, anything. The way I was raised, anything, doesn't matter. So it's hard. It's very hard. A lot works against this. A lot doesn't allow for this. It's hard to make a different choice when this isn't something that's rampantly practiced, you know, around you. But I do it knowing that the payoff in the end is that I am a truly happier person in a deeper sense, where there's less struggle beneath the happiness. The happiness is free. And I realize that my entire objective for my life seems to be a very spiritually based one. It's always been very spiritual, even though that's not what I could call it at the time. But if I can accept that, I think maybe I can let go some sort of like mental constraint around that might be inhibiting my ability to just live my life rather than suffer through it. So that's what all this is about, is just finding my happy middle, finding my balance, finding that place where I can just be, where things aren't so hard. I've arranged my life in a way that works for me and not against me, and then I can be more successful in life that way. Because I'd much rather take the time to be happy now than put that off to some future date that I never know will come. So I'm going to take off the rest of the day. I'm going to rest, and much love, big hug, and many thanks to you. For you are an amazing person, and without you, none of this would be possible. Thank you. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye. Mwah.